Happy Ling Day.
Ding-a-ding-a-durgan. Welcome back to my channel, everybody, and Merry Christmas to you all. This is actually the first year I've done a Christmas video. 4 years on YouTube, and this is the first Christmas video I've ever done. This is my sister, by the way.
Hi.
And this is, weirdly enough, my first collaboration sort of thing. A lot of firsts going on right here.
It's the year of firsts.
That's for sure. So if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail or by the title of the video, we are going to be talking about some of our favorite Christmas movies that we watch every year. She's going to talk about some Christmas movies that she watches without me, and same thing, vice versa. There's like two movies. We're going to do two movies each that you're going to talk about by yourself. I'm going to talk about by myself, that type of thing. And yeah, we watch these movies with our parents. We watch them by ourselves.
And all the movies that we're going to be talking about are in no specific order. So this isn't like this is the best one and this isn't. It's just a bunch of movies we put together that we watch during the Christmas time.
Yeah, it's if we were to rank them, there'd be a lot of bickering. Like, why is this number one when I don't like it more than you type of thing. It's just better to just kind of group them together, not put them in any particular order, just kind of, yeah.
It would cause a huge sibling fight that nobody wants to see.
Yeah, my audience is pretty smart. They get the idea.
The first movie that Dennis and I kind of put together on the list that was a for sure, yes, this is a movie, is actually a bunch of movies, because they're all the same, all different kinds.
Yeah.
The Grinch.
And the new Grinch. You are shorter than me, by the way. Wow, this is going to be awkward. Anyway, we got all three Grinch movies. I think the Jim Carrey one we watched the most because that was 2003. That was right when I was 7, I believe, 8 or 7.
I think something like that. It was, a 2001 movie or something?
No, 2003, I believe.
Oh, 2003.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Either way, we've grown up with it. Every single year we watch it. The whole family loves it. And we personally think it's one of the better Grinch movies. Difference in opinions from a lot of different people. But we love this one the most.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit off on that one. I actually do like the animated one, the original with Boris Karloff, just a little bit more. Mainly because it's such a simple story. And though I love the Jim Carrey one, and I even enjoy this one, even though it's probably the weakest one. Even though I enjoy those, less is more when it comes with The Grinch, because it's such a simple story. It's a Who that doesn't like Christmas, so he goes and steals Christmas from the other Whos. You guys know the story. The movie is just, added stuff that some worked, some didn't. But, so yeah, that's why I kind of like the original with Boris Karloff just a little bit more. It's just straight to the point. We establish that what the Grinch is, who the Grinch is, what the Who's are, that type of stuff, and it just gets to the point quicker.
It's also just one of the classics.
Oh, yeah.
And when it comes to classic movies, any remake, can be enhancing the story of the original, but you really just can't beat the classics.
Yeah.
So each one of these, I think, has their own kind of special charm to them that brings something special to the story of the Grinch.
Yeah.
I have my own opinions on the new one, but that's just me.
Yeah. The way people reacted to this one when I bought it, I was like, this is going to be terrible. This is just going to be absolutely terrible. And especially since it's from Illumination, which their animation's great, but you're going to hate me for this. I hate the Minions. I absolutely hate them. So I thought, oh God, they're going to Minion the crap out of the Grinch. It's going to be terrible. And I watched it. I thought it's fine. It's harmless. There's some stuff I don't like the Grinch song, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, it's iconic, and every adaptation does it. But this one kind of screws it up because, number one, it does it way too early. It's not an introduction to the Grinch when we first see him in the movie. That plays, when he's dressing up as Santa, it's iconic with that image, with that part of the story. And this one does it right when we first... It's the introduction to the Grinch, and it's a crappy rap version that sounds like the guy literally was thrown into a studio and they're like, rap about the Grinch. Oh, okay, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You know, it just sounds so lazy.
I personally just felt like that, like this new Grinch movie, there was so much they could have done with it, but they didn't, and they took the easy animation route out, like, with it.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done so much more with it. It was funny and it was good, but
yeah, it had its moments.
It could have had so much more done to it. Don't knock Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. The next Christmas classic we watch every year is The Polar Express. Now, The Polar Express is a very nostalgic movie for the both of us, and a very personal Christmas movie to the both of us, because our parents explained that the reason... Because we saw this movie in theaters, and from what I remember, it was great in theaters, but we were both... I was like 9 when it came out, and you were 10.
What year was this movie?
2004, I believe.
2004.
Yeah, I was 9.
I was in... Yeah, and I was 10.
Yeah.
Quick disclaimer, if you have children watching, close your ears for a minute. This movie actually came out the year that Dennis and I started questioning our parents on Santa Claus and if he was real and kind of what Christmas was really about. We were questioning a lot of the childhood things that
every kid goes through.
And this movie surprisingly came out in the perfect year, so our parents took us to see this movie in theaters to explain the question, is Santa real? What's the meaning of Christmas? Why do we do all these things? What are the traditions? Stuff like that. And it really did help us at a young age to understand the reality of what Christmas and Santa are to people around this time of year. So it holds a very special meaning for the both of us.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it's a very it's a very personal movie for us, and that's probably the reason why we watch it every year. And it's a good movie. Like, I know there's people that don't like The Polar Express, and that's perfectly fine. I can kind of see what they're talking about whenever I watch it. Like, yeah, a lot of it is filler to make it a feature-length movie, because you can't make a movie about 30 page?
I think
20 page, 30 page?
Between 25 to 30 pages.
You can't make a movie about a 20-30 page book and have it be beat for beat exactly what happens and then put it in theaters. They just can't do it. There's a reason why they put filler into certain movies, and some people complained about the stuff in this one. It was just at the point where I just didn't care when I first saw it. I was just like, oh yeah, I remember reading the book in school, and I saw the movie, and I'm like, oh, the movie's pretty good. Yeah, looking at it now, like, the motion capture it hasn't really aged all that well. A lot of it looks very waxy and kind of awkward. In fact, Tom Hanks at times looks really scary in this.
I personally would love to see this movie kind of revamped with the new technology of today.
Yeah, 4K master.
Oh yeah, I think it would look absolutely phenomenal.
By the way, Warner Brothers, give us a 4K master for the Polar Express. Like, I'm fine with the Blu-ray, but I would love a 4K transfer.
It's a movie about Tom Hanks.
It's the movie about...
Featuring Tom Hanks. Also starring Tom Hanks.
It's also a movie about a balding middle-aged old man that lures children into his magical train with stories of Santa Claus. So,
such a passion project.
Take that for what you will.
So the next movie that we put on this list is another family favorite. It's actually something that is even popular in our extended family.
Oh, yeah.
That we've seen growing up. Kind of stopped watching for a while, I would say, for a couple years.
Yeah.
And, hey, we found it again. We watched it. Still love it.
Mm-hmm.
It is Christmas Vacation.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation.
Weirdly enough, I don't really remember watching this too much as a kid. I know we did. And I know one of our cousins watches it with our aunts every year. But I don't remember much of it as a kid until 10 years ago. 10 years ago is when I started catching on to it again and started watching it a little bit more. And God, this movie's funny. This movie's hilarious.
It's kind of a joke within our family because we kind of see our own family a lot in this one.
I think a lot of people can see something about their family. For instance, Cousin Eddie. He's a redneck doofus. I'm not saying every family has a redneck doofus, but every family has that one goofball relative that they love, but you see and you're just kind of like, oh, here he comes. Hey, good to see you again. That type of attitude.
We've also had cousins on, oh gosh, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think both holidays.
I know where
when we
you're
would all get together, pre-virus, hey. But we would all be sitting at the table, and of course, one of our aunts would ask, all right, who's going to say grace this year? And it always was these two cousins. One of them would say, oh, I'd do it. And then he would start saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you've seen the movie, you know what we're talking about.
But hey, Christmas Vacation.
Don't watch the second one. I haven't even seen it, but I heard it's terrible.
Don't. Stick to this one.
Yeah, it's hilarious, quotable as hell. Everyone can find something that relates to them in it. So the next one, it's going to be weird introducing this one because I have a combo pack, but we're just talking about one special, and that is the Peanuts Christmas Special. Classic. Absolute classic. Like, if you're breathing, you know this special. Everyone knows this. That's how iconic it is.
It's also one of those specials, just like the original Grinch, that really isn't that long of a special. I think it's, half hour?
Yeah.
Something like that.
When you watch it on TV with commercials, it's about a half hour, but without commercials, it runs normally like 20 to 25 minutes. It's a fast watch.
Yeah, it's one of those really easy ones, and it's just a classic. You really can't go wrong with it. Everyone knows the Peanuts.
Yeah.
There's really not much we can say about it because so many people just love it.
Yeah. I honestly respect I respect everything the Peanuts do because they're iconic and everything, and I obviously grew up with them. But the Christmas special I respect a little bit more after learning kind of like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, everything was so low budget for that special, and everyone thought it was going to be terrible. Everyone thought it was going to be the worst thing ever, but they still released it anyway. And even something so low budget that people just did because they have a passion for it, of making something like that, even though everyone thought it was going to be bad, it's iconic now, and I give it a lot of respect for some of the behind the scenes stuff I've heard about it. Like, it's pretty great.
It's just one of those movies that we have to watch it at least once every year. And when we watch it once, it's usually Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or somewhere really, really close to that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a family favorite. Well, this one is a ultimate classic, ultimately loved. It became a tradition in our family.
Yep.
A Christmas Story.
Yep, they run it every year, Christmas Eve through Christmas Day for 24 hours, and we watch it. We watch it like at least 10 times during Christmas. So I don't really even need this copy, but I love this movie so much I got up on it.
We make sure that A Christmas Story is only watched from Christmas Eve night to Christmas Day,
Yep.
kind of nighttime-ish. They start playing it around 7 p.m. our time, and we have to watch the first one.
Oh, yeah, every year.
Every year. Have to watch the first one when it's on. We try to catch a little bit of it before we go to bed, depending on how late we're staying up.
Yeah.
And Christmas morning,
we watch it when we open presents.
Well, we actually open presents with Christmas music on, and then for breakfast, we turn on A Christmas Story again. So it's one of those traditions that our family has really caught on to, and it's a very wholesome movie. It's
a very simple movie, too. Because very similar to the Peanuts Christmas special, this movie is very similar to that. It was very low budget, and it was made because the author of the book, it was his life story. He narrated the movie. He was also in the movie. He made a guest appearance. But it was such a low budget production, and when it was released, like, critics liked it, but then it just kind of fell underneath people's radar, and no one really talked about it. It wasn't even, like, truly appreciated until I think, like, after the 90s, like in the 2000s, something like that. And then all of a sudden it just, boom, exploded. Like, someone somewhere, I guess, saw the movie again, and they're like, guys, this movie's amazing, you need to watch it. And then more people caught on to it, and then you really got to think about, like, all the, like, how influential it is for the Christmas season, because not only is it just one movie, it spawned a sequel called My Summer Story, which I still haven't seen, but I heard it wasn't that good. It's the same characters, different actors, it just takes place in the summertime. It spawned so much merchandise. It spawned an official sequel that I think is the worst piece of garbage ever made ever, and I might talk about it one year for Christmas. Don't ever watch A Christmas Story 2, the official sequel. It's a piece of garbage. And it spawned a live television performance that I heard was even worse.
Stick with the classic.
Stick with the classic.
Always stick with the
Very
classic.
quotable. Similar to Christmas Vacation. Very quotable.
I mean, year round, I know every time one of us gets in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
which we still get in trouble.
Yeah.
You're always going to get in trouble with your parents.
Yeah.
But every time something happens, I'm the one to always quote, Daddy's going to kill Ralphie.
Yep.
You hear a lot of people throughout the year, you're going to shoot your eye out.
Yep.
It's one of those movies with little memorable quotes
Mm-hmm.
that can, just be said really whenever.
Yeah. Here's how much I love this movie. My mom, last year for Christmas, bought me a leg lamp ornament. It's like a solar bobblehead that I put on the dashboard of my car. And I've named my car the Major Award. Welcome back, Robert Zemeckis, because you also directed A Christmas Carol for Disney.
Now this one, when we were making our list, it's not an all-time Christmas favorite,
No,
like
not really.
A Christmas Story, Polar Express, Grinch. Pretty much all of those that we just showed you are for sure Christmas favorites.
Yeah.
This one we watch, every once in a while. It's a good movie. It just tells the story of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
With Ebenezer
Yeah.
Scrooge.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. It's a beautiful movie. Like, the animation and the way it's done, it really is a beautiful movie. It's the classic story. They really don't do too much extra to the actual story. It's a fun one. It really is. It's just not something that we watch all the time, but when it's on during Christmas, we watch it.
Yeah, I think I've only seen it once, and I remember thinking, yeah, this is pretty good. I don't remember like it being amazing, and it's a newborn Christmas classic, and Jim Carrey, he's in another Christmas movie because he was in The Grinch, and stuff like that. But I just remember watching it, and I'm like, yeah, this is good. I mean, very similar to Polar Express. The motion capture at times can look creepy and very waxy and stuff like that. But I do need to rewatch it. I honestly do. I bought it, so I gotta rewatch it.
And even with, we love Jim Carrey, personally. Like, his movies are great. He's a phenomenal actor. So, him in this one just brings a whole new life to Scrooge and the story of him. And
he's a very fascinating actor. So, I think when you cast him in a movie, whether it be a good movie or a bad movie, there is some legitimacy with it. So at least I remember that about this one. So
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Definitely worth watching.
So the next movie that she's going to talk about is, you can go ahead and say it.
The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yeah. She likes this movie a lot more than I do. I remember watching it and thinking, this is kind of dumb. I'd never want to watch it again. So she's going to talk about one of her favorite Christmas movies, and then when she's done, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite Christmas movies, and we're going to do that for a little bit. So go ahead and talk about Santa Claus.
So, like he was kind of saying, we kind of had some back and forth with some of the movies, which is why we're doing these separate. I chose the Santa Claus. They came out with 3 different movies with it. Santa Claus 1, 2, 3, hey. And Tim Allen's phenomenal in it. The story of, a business guy who is he's not big into Christmas. He doesn't have the biggest Christmas spirit. And, things happen. He is now Santa Claus. He has to completely change his mindset on Christmas. I think it makes for a really good movie. It really does. And, like, some movies, they make a sequel and a third, and they're not that good. I personally really liked all 3 movies. I just thought it's one of those really wholesome movies that brings a new light to Santa Claus and the figure of Santa. I'm not really sure what else to say, because it's just, they're really good movies. I really like them. He doesn't. But I also don't like his movie. I personally don't think it's a Christmas movie, and I just had to say that. And now, Here you go, brother. Yeah.
So very similar to a Peanuts one, this is going to be a little hard to introduce. Well, not hard to introduce, but you'll get when I see it. But a Christmas classic, the debate of the Christmas century. I don't know if that's a real term, but it is now. I'm surprised this debate is still going on, and I'm on the side of yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I just want to say this, okay? I just want to say this. In the coming years, we have been more open and accustomed to Christmas horror movies, like Krampus, and I can't think of the other one. There's another one, but I can't think about it. But we've become more accustomed to movies like that. Christmas horror, it's now a popular thing to watch around Christmas. Why can't we have a Christmas action movie? It exists. Now, any normal person would look at Die Hard. Let's just say someone's never seen Die Hard before. They might look at it, hear all the stuff about, yeah, it's a Christmas movie, and, is it or isn't it type of thing. They might say, well, it doesn't have a Christmas message in it. What's the big thing about it? That's not why it's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas action movie. The movie takes place on Christmas Eve. There's Christmas music all throughout the movie. One of the last lines of the movie is, if this is your idea for Christmas, I gotta be here for New Year's. It's very iconic, and the writer of the movie said he wrote this as a Christmas movie. It was confirmed. 20th Century Fox and now Disney release a Blu-ray every year with a Christmas slipcover. They re-released the trailer for the movie to have a holiday theme. Rotten Tomatoes has it on their list as one of the best Christmas movies.
You're also thinking of Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. That's
You're
right.
welcome.
That's right. Thank you.
Sister of the Year.
Thank you. But yeah, like, I know the debate's still going on and people have their opinions, and that's fine. But if you ask me, it's a Christmas movie. It's just you honestly need to rewatch. You need to watch it and tell me you don't at least get a Christmas like vibe. Not in like the other Christmas movies. Like, watch it and tell me you don't think of Christmas when you're watching this. It is not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off the Nakatomi Plaza. So there's one more Christmas movie that she hasn't seen, but I have, that I really want to talk about because I feel like this one needs a spot. I mean, it's technically not a good movie, but it's become a guilty pleasure classic over the years. Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie's dumb. This movie's stupid. Like, I can go on and on about everything that's wrong with this movie. Why is Arnold Schwarzenegger looking for a Turbo Man doll? Well, it's easy. His son wants one. And why is the mailman looking for one and fighting with him all the time? Because he wants one too. But yeah, it's a dumb movie. But my God, is it entertaining. I mean, this movie has one of the best Arnold lines in the entire movie. Put the cookie down now! It's like, where else can you find that? Who wrote that? That's amazing.
Leave it to the movie.
God bless whoever wrote that.
Leave it to Arnold.
I mean, yeah, like, he was perfect in this movie. He either looks like he wants to be there, or he wants to run off the set. But you can tell he's having a blast either way. And yeah, the third act is great. So if you don't know the plot of the movie, I'll sum it up for you because you haven't seen it. A deadbeat dad, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, wants to win back his son's love, I guess, for Christmas because he's never around. So he asks him, what do you want the most for Christmas? And his favorite superhero is called Turbo Man. And there is a new doll for the Christmas season that's Turbo Man. Everyone wants it. It's out of stock everywhere, and he says he wants it really badly. And he goes through hell trying to look for this doll. He goes to the mall. He fights with people for the doll. He goes to an underground Santa shop that you can poke holes in all you want on why that doesn't make sense to get one, only to find out that version is a cheaply made Spanish one that you find at like the dollar store or something like that. And then he fights with a mailman because the mailman wants a Turbo Man doll for his kid. And they have great back and forth with each other. And so the third act, Arnold gets mistaken for the actor who's going to be in the parade dressing up as Turbo Man. And yeah, there's this whole thing that he has to pick out a kid to get a Turbo Man doll. And of course he picks out his son because his son's there. And then the mailman steals the costume of the bad guy of Turbo Man, and there's like this amazing battle between him, his son, and the mailman that's just beyond stupid. But you gotta love how stupid it is. It's such a class. You need to watch it.
I actually, stupidly, from your description of it, I think I've actually seen it.
Oh, really?
Before.
It's
And
a pretty well-known movie.
I don't think I like it. I liked it. I'm personally not a huge fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
His name is hard. I'm not a fan of Arnold as an actor. That's just me. So I think I did see it, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. So
Yeah. They did make a sequel with Larry the Cable Guy. And why? Why did you make a jingle all the way to with Larry the goddamn Cable Guy?
So this movie I chose, I'm going to throw you under the bus. I'm not sorry. He's never seen before.
No, I've seen it once. I saw it when I was really young, and I don't know why. I just never got back to watching it. Don't kill me, please, because I know I was scared when I mentioned I didn't like Hocus Pocus.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a Halloween and a Christmas movie. I see it as both. I watch it for Halloween and for Christmas. We know the story of Jack Skellington. I mean, it's a guy who's tired of living in his little Halloween area, somehow gets into the Christmas area, and is like, wow, I love this. This is amazing. You can't go wrong with this movie. You really can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm personally a fan of Tim Burton.
Even though he didn't direct it.
No, but it's Tim Burton's.
Yeah,
Nightmare
he was
Before
involved with it, but everyone thinks he directed it. He didn't.
But it's just one of those movies. There's not much to I can really say honestly about it because so many people do know it. It's such an iconic movie. Watch it for Halloween. Watch it for Christmas. Both elements are in there.
It's one of those things that everyone has seen, so you don't really need to go into detail. I mean, even though I've only seen it once, I know it enough so to where if someone were to explain it to me, I could just be like, yeah, I know. Like, I will get around to watching it. This next movie is multiple movies, and it's very similar to Die Hard. There's a debate on if these are Christmas movies or not. I mean, they're played around Halloween time and Christmas, so you could say they're Halloween movies and Christmas movies altogether.
They are diverse movies.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about all of them. We're just going to kind of group them all together, and that's the Harry Potter franchise. We're holding Sorcerer's Stone because that's the first one, or Philosopher's Stone for you foreign folks out there.
They call it Philosopher's?
In like UK and Canada and other countries, they call it Philosopher's Stone.
The more you know.
My buddy Brando Critic calls it. I think he calls it Philosopher's Stone. He's called it before. Hi, Brandon. So, Harry Potter. I would say all the movies except for Deathly Hallows Part 2. Because that technically takes place with Part 1. They all have Christmas in there somehow. Because, it's a school. It's a school year. Hogwarts is a school. So you got to show winter vacation and all that stuff. And I can't really explain why, besides that reason alone, people watch this for Christmas. I mean...
I think, personally, it has some very winter-like elements.
Yeah, it's hard to explain.
It really is hard to explain, but if you go on really any channel that plays movies around Christmas time...
ABC, or Freeform.
A lot of them are actually going to be playing Harry Potter. So it's a really interesting thing, so we thought we would add it in, because, I mean, we watch it a couple times a year when they're on, and Christmas, for some reason, is really one of the times. So it's a very interesting, thing.
It's very similar to Die Hard because, Die Hard does take place on Christmas Eve, so you could argue Die Hard's more of a Christmas movie than Harry Potter is, but... It's one of those things that when you watch it, you get this Christmassy feel of it. And even in the moments of the Harry Potter movies where it's not Christmas, when they're playing Quidditch, it's like, I can't really explain it, but this feels, it's cozy, I guess you want to say, even though these are epic fantasy movies. Yeah, the only ones that didn't really do Christmas tradition are the Fantastic Beasts movies, which is a little, I guess, weird because it feels like there's something missing with that. Because, like I said, all the movies, excluding Deathly Hallows Part 2, because, like I said, that takes place with Part 1. So Part 1 and Part 2 is technically one big movie. Yeah, it feels weird that the Fantastic Beasts movies don't really involve Christmas. But yeah, the Harry Potter movies, if you think they are Christmas classics you watch every year, I'm not going to disagree. If you watch them for Halloween, I can't disagree with that either, because it has that cozy feeling, even though they're fantasy epics.
Son of a Nutcracker, Elf is on our list.
We're talking about Elf next. Another classic that, from what I remember, no one really talked about when it first came out, and then just all of a sudden, in the coming years, it just blew up as very similar to A Christmas Story.
Kind of. Elf, I mean, it's its own little charming movie. You know, you have an elf who's not an elf. He's a human, finds out he's not an elf, tries to reconnect with his dad. It's this whole thing. It's a cute movie.
Yeah.
It's another one of those where a lot of the quotes from the movie are very memorable from...
Yeah.
I mean, Will Ferrell did a phenomenal job with this.
Yeah.
He really did. He honestly is the best Buddy the Elf that I could ever imagine in this movie.
Yeah, I know you love the movie more than I do. I don't hate Elf, but it's one of those movies that if it's on and I'm in the mood to watch it, I'll watch it. But for me, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch Elf on Christmas like I would for a lot of these Christmas movies. Like, we were watching it for dinner last weekend, and I was just kind of like, okay, it's on, let's watch it. It's funny, you know, and I can say there's iconic stuff, like the bit where he yells Santa. My God, that's starting to annoy me, but I can't deny that's iconic. And
he knows him.
I know he knows him, but it's...
He knows him.
But my God, every single commercial on TV, when they advertise they're playing Elf, is him yelling Santa, and it's like, okay, we get it. It's classic, iconic. Don't have to keep showing it. We get it. And also, when I was younger, I wasn't really that big of a fan of Will Ferrell, which is weird because I kind of like him now. And
you're a really big fan of him now. You watch a lot of his.
Yeah, like
movies.
I liked him in Step Brothers. His small bit in the Lego movies was pretty funny. And even though I didn't like the Daddy's Home movies, he was good in those too. So yeah, I've grown more of a Will Ferrell fan since I was younger. When I was younger, I just thought he was annoying as hell. But yeah, I appreciate his comedy a lot more.
I would just say that Elf is a very charming movie.
Yeah.
It just screams Christmas, obviously.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
I feel like this movie is also good for like families with small kids, because Buddy is in a way a kid.
He is.
He's got the mind of a kid. He acts like a kid. So this movie's kind of perfect for that, for families with small kids.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah. Okay, we got one more Christmas movie, and this is... I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of comments on this one saying, why do you watch that every year? Because this movie is hated by people. I've looked up reviews. This is labeled on some critics' reviews and lists as one of the worst Christmas movies of all time, but
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. Like, I can kind of see it. Like, this movie's pretty dumb, but it's a guilty pleasure. I love watching every year Christmas with the Cranks.
It's a really good movie. I think our parents actually found it before we did.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And, I mean, okay, fun fact about our family. Also, we grew up watching Toy Story. So, Tim Allen being Buzz Lightyear was huge for us growing up. My mom especially loves it. So when she saw Christmas with the Cranks, she thought, oh my God, it's Buzz. We gotta watch it. And we actually, I think all four of us really fell in love with it. It was an unexpected, now family favorite.
Yeah, also adding on to that, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's weird because all four of us that live in the house now, we love Halloween. We watch the Halloween movies every year, Jamie Lee Curtis. So it was kind of like a... This is going to be weird to say because I look at this movie now and I just think this is really stupid. It was kind of like this movie was meant to be for us.
It was.
Because I view this movie as a guilty pleasure now. Like, we watched it a lot when I was younger. I think 10 or 11 is when we started to watch it, at least when I started to watch it. So I'm pretty nostalgic about this movie, but yeah, looking at it on a technical level, there's so much dumb things in this. Like, just really, really dumb. Like, why did you buy a crappy tree for $75 and bring it home when you're just going to throw it out anyway?
There's a lot of things in this movie that now looking at it kind of seem a little dumb, like the tree thing. But, last year was a very nostalgic Christmas for us because of our dad's heart failing and being put on the heart transplant list and also the kidney transplant list.
Yeah, if you don't know the story, go look at my channel update video I did back in March, I believe. I go into detail about what happened, so you'll get caught up after that.
But, quick little thing. December 23rd was actually the day that he was put on the list. So Christmas Eve and Christmas Day last year was very nostalgic for us, really just taking in the, not to sound super sad, but the possible last time that our little family could possibly be together.
Yeah.
It was a very uncertain year last year for us.
We're talking about 2019, not
2019, not this year.
Yeah.
We're good. We're great.
Everything's good, yeah.
But last year things really hit in a very nostalgic way. So Christmas with the Crank was watched a lot for us because it has that sense of nostalgia.
Yeah.
That our family just kind of needed last year, and it feels different watching it this year.
It does.
All of these movies really feel different watching this year.
Because now that we're past what happened with our dad, it's kind of like we're being nostalgic in a different way now. Because last year, I just now thought of this. It's like last year we were looking at it as this is nostalgic because what happens if it doesn't go well? And now this year, now that everything's going great, it's like, let's be nostalgic because everything's great now. We're past that worrying point.
So this movie just, all of these, honestly, just really hit home for all of us. Most of them hold a very special place for all of us and our family.
And the point is with this video is that a lot of these movies are better than other movies, obviously. Like we just mentioned, Christmas with the Cranks, on a technical level, isn't a good movie, but it's nostalgic for us. It's a guilty pleasure. But it's like, because of that, we can watch it every year and still have that Christmas vibe. Or we can watch a really great movie, like A Christmas Story. It's hard to explain because it's one of those things that you don't really want to be technical about it. Like, yeah, that's my job on this channel. Like, I can pick apart all these movies with flaws and stuff like that, but while I'm watching them, I just don't want to because I love the Christmas season. I love Christmas movies. It's like, yeah, you can pick them apart, but really at the end of the day, what do you get out of it? You get to complain online that, yay, I talked shit about a Christmas movie that someone else might like and someone else watches every year. Cool. What do you get out of it, though? You know?
These movies, like I said, they hold a special place for us. We made this list together to really just highlight the Christmas movies that mean the most to us. Because Christmas is very big in our family. It's the one holiday that's, it's very special to us. So there's a lot of other movies out there
that we didn't mention, like Home Alone and
Frozen.
and Batman Returns.
No.
Technically, Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie as well. And the original ending for Die Hard 3 did take place on Christmas Eve too. So in a parallel universe, Die Hard 3 is a Christmas movie too. But the fourth one broke Christmas tradition. How dare you?
All right.
But I like Die Hard 4.
To bring it back.
Yeah.
You guys may not agree with this list. You may think, oh, those wouldn't be in my list, and that's okay. If you want, let us know what is your list.
Yeah.
We would love to know. Maybe it would open us up to some other Christmas movies that could kind of fit in with our little tradition that we have here.
Yeah. I mean, every list is different, no matter what. And that's why I don't really fight with people on like Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or anything like that when I see something I disagree with. Because it's like, every list is different. Yeah, let us know in the comment section. What are your Christmas classics? What do you watch every year? Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? Do you like her little Mickey Mouse hat? Do you like my Mickey Mouse shirt? Are you looking forward to Christmas? And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then let us know your holiday movies that you watch in the comment section. If you're Hanukkah, I really hope you don't watch 8 Crazy Nights, though. That was terrible. Have you seen 8 Crazy Nights?
I haven't.
Good.
No. Okay.
It's terrible.
So, thank you for letting me kind of appear on this channel. I've been
sure.
bugging him for a while to let me on.
We haven't found anything that we could agree on, because like she wanted to do one for the 2019 Lion King remake. She liked it. I hated it. So it's like that wasn't gonna work because we're just gonna end up bickering with each other. And then she wanted to do one for The Greatest Showman, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, but again, you liked it more than I did, and plus it's been 2 years since it came out, so no one's really talking about it. So it was this was a good idea with it. We did. Maybe we'll do more videos in the future if we find something we agree on, like either like or dislike.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
Let me know if you like or you want me back or you hate me. Criticism, hey.
Wow. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Anyway.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah. I hope you guys have a good Christmas. Again, if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a good holiday, whatever you do celebrate. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for sticking with me for another year of videos. It's been this year has been
one of the hardest years personally for our family.
Yeah, and
not with the current environment
just
that we are
general.
experiencing, but just our own little personal bubble. It's been very difficult.
I know I wanted to do more with my channel this year, but because of that, I haven't been able to. So I do, for what it's worth, I do apologize about that. But now that things are starting to look up, I will make it up next year. I will do more videos next year. I still have to do a Q&A video, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Can I be there for that?
Anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my sister for being here. If you like this video, then hit the like button. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time.
Bye.